And I'm like, all right, all right. Greetings, greetings. Good afternoon. Haki Ami here, the Success Scholar. Thank you for tuning in and listening in. I am here today with a phenomenal broadcast with you live, and we're going to have us a good conversation. A lot of amazing things are going on in the African world, the global Pan African world, of course, and you can visit us, and we will rebroadcast this on the Global African Sheroes Union page on YouTube, and I'll let Angela share if you all have a Facebook page as well. But we having the amazing, exciting opportunity. We are on Women's History Month, and a lot of Women International Day was yesterday, and Global African Women's Day is coming up next week. But I have the president of the Global African Sheroes on with me right now, Sister Angela Sales, and we are going to have us a conversation about Global African Women's Day and the events that's going to be happening at the United Nations coming up here next week. And I believe they have other events like starting like now or however. It's going to be a lot of events going on surrounding the United Nations. So thank you, Sister Angela, for joining me, and hopefully Sister CJ will get in, but we're gonna keep it going. But just open up and share a little bit about what's going on with the Global African Sheroes and the movement that you are leading at this time. So just open up and share a little bit about yourself and what this entails.
Thank you, Brother Haki, for having me on. I really appreciate the interest and opportunity to come and share the work that we're doing on behalf of global African women. So, yes, my name is Angela Sells. I am a Cleveland native. I currently do reside in Cleveland, Ohio. Our organization, the Global African Sheroes Union, we are an NGO. We're headquartered in Washington, D.C., and we represent 16 regions worldwide. We have over 200 sheroes in our network. And really, the sheroes started off as a really informal situation. Our founder emeritus, Sister Kim Poole, who you know very well, really pioneered this movement, just being a sister to a group of women over in Ghana. And she is a world traveler. She travels all over Africa. And in her journeys, she meets with women to talk about protecting our wombs, protecting our sisters, and protecting our nation. And I was doing work previously with one of our legacy sisters, Sister Empress Chi, also known as Dr. Fale Chionisu, out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Back in 2017, I was the national coordinator for the 20-year anniversary of the Million Woman March. And of course, many folks and sisters remember back in 1997, when I was just a college student at the University of Kentucky, that I got on a bus and rode to Philly. There was over 2.5 million women, Black women, women of African descent, at that event. And that left an impression on me at that time as a young woman. And I never forget, the people who participated, Dr. Winnie Mandela, Jada Pinkett Smith, Maxine Waters, Faith Evans, Sister Soldier, all there for us. And so when I actually met Sister Kim and Empress at the same event in Baltimore, D.C., a global African diaspora conference. And it was just some wonderful women doing work on the global stage on behalf of Africa. And when I had the opportunity to work with Empress, I jumped on it. And so that work led me to the United Nations, 2 years as an observer. And the third year, I was invited to sit on a panel hosted by the New Futures Foundation, which is based in Harlem, and some other organizers. And I brought forth a presentation on financial sustainability in agribusiness for uh, global African women. And Sister Kim had been doing the work, and one of our elder advisors out of Liberia, Mama Louise,
Mm,
also
mm,
told Kim that the Shiro should be at the UN. And so we
mm,
connected at that point and intersected, and she asked me to, help her to put on these international events. And we did that. I think it's probably 4 years ago. And of course, anyone who knows Kim, one event turned into 3 events, and we were
mhm.
able to do those events successfully up at the United Nations. So this year marks our 4th year engaging in the United Nations on the Commission of the Status of Women. And actually, after we did it for the first year, our elder advisor, another one of our advisors, Dr. Beryl Beekman, who's been working in the United Nations in Geneva for the past nearly 50 years, she told us, look, you all are doing great work. You need to formalize your work and, become an organization. And the organization needed leadership, and I was invited to be part of the leadership. And I've been the international host and the chair of the organization ever since. And so that's really how it happened, how we came together, and we're here. Like, we're here and we're a presence. And so that's how we got started and what brought us to the UN.
Okay. All right. All right. So we are thankful, and we are, as soon as she gets her lip gloss on and all this other stuff. No, I'm just kidding. But Sister CJ is on. She is on. You let us know if you're ready, CJ. But Sister Angela gave a
Okay,
intro
I'm
to the
having a little
Shiro.
bit of trouble hearing you.
Oh, you can't hear?
Give me 1 second.
We hear you. Oh, she's coming through
Hold
loud
on.
and clear.
Let me text. We hear you. Let me text. We hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, you obviously you can hear me too.
Okay.
Maybe. So, all right. Well, we are good. We are good. So, CJ and Angela, as she said, she's in Cleveland, Ohio, and Sister CJ is coming on, and we are talking about what we gave a quick history about the Global African Sheroes Union. Sister Angela shared her story, and so just open up. How did you? Sister CJ, get yourself and position yourself into this international space and the work that you all are doing. And
I'm not sure if she can
I'm
hear, but
sorry. I can't
before she
hear.
actually gets,
It's the sound is very faint. I'm
tell her
trying to,
we'll type the
try to,
question in the chat.
yeah, okay, okay, all right.
yeah, that will help. That will help. Angie, I can hear, for some reason, I can hear you really well, but I can't
Well,
hear
go ahead.
Haki very well.
Well, repeat it. Just repeat it, Angela.
Okay, sure. So CJ, let me I'll bring you the question. I just wanted to preface your introduction by just telling the audience a little bit about the regions that we operate. And so we have 4 regions in the US, and we're based in the DMV area, where Sister Juliette Begon is our regional host, and she's just transitioned into that position. So we congratulate her. And that is the Mid-Atlantic region. And here in the Midwest, based in Cleveland and Columbus, we have Mama Ade. She is the Shiro's host for our region. And then in the Southwest, we have Sister Brittany Turner, based in Houston. She's the Shiro's host for that region. And joining us on the platform is Miss CJ. She is over the Southeast region, and she's based in Kentucky. And the rest of our regions are outside of the United States. And so Miss CJ is representing the Southeast region, and she recently had the Sheroes down for a big event. But she talk about your role with the Sheroes and what you're looking to take back to your region as a result of participating in our parallel event and our week in New York City.
Absolutely. Well, thank you first and foremost for having me on. And as Angela stated, I am in Kentucky. What speaks very passionately for me is that there's a very strong parallel between the disparities that we see, that typically people tend to project as a out of country issue, um, and having come from such a rural, predominantly regional area, I'm able to really connect with the issues firsthand of what women of African descent experience over the globe as it pertains to food equity, as it pertains to land equity, education, health equity, and some of the even trafficking areas, that human trafficking areas that we hear talked about across the nation. And I think it really brings home to me the importance not just to advocate um, for someone else, but we're actually advocating for ourselves. We're advocating for our sisters, our daughters. These are women with faces, and to understand that um, this work is essential to create change and to establish the foundation for our future, not just our existence, is very key for me. So I'm very happy to be a part of that work. I'm very happy to walk alongside my sisters, and very optimistic in what we can do together in this work at the UN that we'll be participating in next week.
Thank you. Thank you, CJ. You may not be able to hear Haki when he speaks, but thank you for that. CJ brought up something very important that I would like to build on, which is what we're going to be seeking to achieve and what the theme of this year's United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, what it's all about. And so we're going to be talking about innovation and technology. The theme is innovation and technology towards gender equality for women in general. But we, the Global African She-Rolls Union, will specifically address innovation and technology and land and food rights for African women and girls. And Ms. CJ alluded to that, and her being able to resonate with that as a young lady who grew up in the rural areas of Kentucky, which, you know, if folks visit rural America, there are many places that do remind you of Africa. I mean, quite frankly, because I know that we're developed, but not every place in America is developed. You know, those of us that live in the major cities and in the suburbs, we, you know, are participants of development, but there's still a lot of just land here. And so we're looking to, our program is lined up to have participants across the globe that will feature intercultural panel discussion on solutions. And so we have done some research on the issues. We've collected information from our She-Rolls worldwide, and we're looking to solution issues addressing poverty. Many of our women are still in extreme poverty, food insecurity, and it also leads to, you know, clean water and sanitation, and just good health and well-being for global African women and girls. And we'll be looking at contributions and benefits of indigenous knowledge, meaning that women on the continent, they are healers, they are mothers, they feed their families, and they are able to do this in different ways that are effective, different from what we do here. A lot of our women and our communities, we're dealing with a lot of health. I got some feedback just there. I'm getting an echo. Turn the mic off. Thank you. We're dealing with different health disparities, and we've been dealing with them: high blood pressure, stroke, diabetes, obesity, you know, and a lot of it is due to lack of access of good, natural, clean food. And so we really want to address taking some ownership in the global food supply chain so that we can help lift our sheroes that are on the continent. We know that 60% of farmers in developing countries are women and girls. And so we want to address the issue of social and upward and political mobility for our sisters on the continent and throughout the diaspora. I don't want to forget the diaspora because women of African descent are everywhere. We're in Europe, we're in the Caribbean, we're in Latin America. And of course, we're here in the US, we're even in Asia and other parts of the world. And so our representation is global. And a lot of women born in Africa also don't still live in Africa, but they still have a strong voice. And they're also part of our network, and we invite them all to participate. So our sheroes will be represented on the panel. We have some special guests that will also be on the panel. Dr. Queen Mother Dolores Blakely is a special guest at our event, and she has accepted our invitation. Empress Chi will be a guest panelist. Dr. Fillet, the founder and convener of the Million Women March, will be there. Our own elder and elder shero and advisor Dr. Bill Beekman will be flying in from Amsterdam to set the tone for our event. And of course, our sheroes will be there bringing, our own CJ will bring the State of the African Global African Woman address. And we will have a spoken word by a couple of our sheroes, Brittany Turner out of Houston and Miss Honeybell Bay, one of our newest sheroes. And I will have a prolific panel featuring Miss Mickey Smith, Sister Kim Poole, Empress Chi, and Juliet, who is from Gabon. And she also is a food entrepreneur, and she is opening a shero shop in the DMV area. And so we are really looking forward to March 17th. And you can join us by clicking on the link, the Eventbrite link that Brother Haki has in the comments, and register. There is limited space, but it is a free event, and it's open to the public. We encourage our brothers to join us. Also, I do want to mention Global African Women's Day a little bit more because that is happening on March 16th. Global African Women's Day was founded by Sister Iman Drama of the Drama Institute. She's another elder she's our partnering organization for our parallel event. She's dedicated her life to the upliftment of African women and girls, and she's based in New York City. And so she founded Global African Women's Day. And when I talked to her recently and asked her what motivated her to create the holiday, she said, well, we've been in the UN, we've been in all these systems where all women are represented. We needed a space just for us to come together. And that was the motivation for her to create Global African Women's Day. And that is on March 16th. So we will be having a celebration at the Shabazz Center in Harlem for Global African Women's Day at 4 p.m. And in the morning, we will also be hosting the African Elder and Intercultural Women's Dialogue. That's a virtual event. We will also, you can find us on Facebook to get the links to all the events. Or you can look on Eventbrite under Global African Sheroes Union, and you will see the events that you can participate in. The celebration is a paid event because we'll be having dinner, but the dialogue earlier in the day, that's free. It's a hybrid event. It's virtual. You can join virtually. And of course, the UN event is open and free, but there are limited spaces available for that. So we have a whole week of Heal, Glow, Grow workshops planned. Because we have to take care of our internal affairs. And then we also, will be strongly engaging with other African women that will be present at the United Nations for this CSW.
Great. Sounds good. CJ, you want to say anything or you want to ask her anything?
So CJ, we're going to close out. What would you like to say to the women watching, our sheroes of the world? What parting words would you like to leave them with on why this work is important to them?
Well, I would start by saying that this work is them. You are Sheroes.
Mm.
Sheroes is not just our organization. The Sheroes represent the identity of every woman who has been a mother and a child. This is your work. This is your future. This is you. This is everything that womanhood in origin is about. And I would say, to offer your prayers, offer your connection to your own Sheroism in your community, and seek out having the conversation with the women in your community, in your school, in your churches, and to start to walk in that role that we do every day amongst our friends, amongst our small sisterhoods, in creating, bringing women to our table, whether it's to eat, whether it is to share in the time that we spend with one another's children, to create opportunity and space for each other to move forward. You are a Shero. This work is for you. It is about you, and we thank you for every space that you take up every day to represent that. And we are happy to represent you as well as you represent us.
Ashe, Ashe. Thank you, CJ. In closing, I would just like to say this, Brother Haki. Um, the Shiro started off as an idea, and it started off as a relationship among sisters. And now we are here as a unified force, and we have the heavy hitters, that are our elders. And part of what we want to take away is the bridge, that the heroic bridge of the elders bestowing upon us trust that we will carry on their legacy and their life's work. And so we will have part ceremony where we are acknowledging the work that all these women that we mentioned have dedicated their lives to doing, but they are elders. And the Sheroes are coming up as a younger organization, and we sit at their feet and pay them homage. And we want them to bliss us and say, yes, we are happy to pass the torch to you all as Sheroes. And so that is part of the voice and part of our heart and the spirit that we're bringing to the generations. We will also have our younger Sheroes there to observe, and also let them know that they can have a path. They can have an international career path that they may not even know is within the realm of possibility. And so we take pride in being a bridge in every direction to strengthen and fortify our global African women. So we thank you for this platform, Brother Haki. We know you'll be joining us. And so we look forward to having you. We'll surely put you to work.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'll be well rested. I'll be well rested.
And we'll
I'm
see you
ready
in New
to
York
go.
City.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Sister CJ. We'll see you soon.
Thank you
We'll
so
talk to you
much.
soon. All right, everybody.
All right,
All right.
peace.
Happy Thursday.
Peace. All right, everybody. I'm gonna play a clip of one of the Sheroes for y'all that's sticking around. Let me see. I'm gonna do a share screen, and let's see. I'm gonna play one of their. Let me see. Wait a minute. Let me click on one of their discussions. This was and let's see. Sneak peek document African sisterhood of business model. Okay. All right. Let me play this here clip. Okay. Oops.
It's different because it's based on Ubuntu from the South African, the Zulus. This is where this word originates. And they say, and I think that when we realize that we're connected in our survival, we see it as an action word. It's no longer just like a noun. A sisterhood is not a noun for African people. It's a verb. It's an actionable thing. It's this women's work. It's womb works. So your sister is the one that's in the thick with you working. Your sister is the one that when you say, I got something to do, she's the one that shows you, right? It's something special about looking over your shoulder and knowing that somebody's got your back. For better or for worse, they're gonna try with you. I think that African sisterhood is a verb, it's an action, and it's continual. It's dynamic, like you said, because it progresses. It evolves. And one day you look up and we're no longer separate. Now we're one being. Like that Ubuntu is real. When I think about my food, I think that my sister eat. When I think about how I'm gonna pay my rent, I wonder if my sister's bills are paid. When I think about how I'm gonna progress, when I think about the next level of my career, it's like, let me see, I'm getting a promotion, or my business has an opportunity. Let me think about how I can get my sister in there. Yeah, hook her up too. Because now your sister is an extension of self. And when you do that work together consistently, when you're in that verb continually, it helps to facilitate that dynamic.
Minute. I think something is off, y'all. Hold on. Wait a minute. I think something is off. Okay, hold on. All right, let me bring this back, y'all. I think I had two things running at the same time. All right, so hopefully you all heard it, but let's bring it back here.
Gives us food for thought and is genuine and authentic. And as we move our dialogue along to talk about how African sisterhood could be used as a business model for development, before you can get to the business, you have to understand actually who your sister is, and also coming into the love and the action, with the attitude that I am my sister's keeper. And having said that, sometimes the reality is we have to identify really who our sisters is. I have a motto or just a philosophy or a principle that I live by: count your ones. So I know that we're here for the collective, but sometimes there's a filtering activities that have to go on, because just because it came from the same womb doesn't mean I'm worried if you got your bills paid when I got mine paid. And so that's part of the dynamic we'll get into as we look at business, because there's that trust factor that has to take place as we build and develop in the local community, the national, and of course the international community. So let's talk a little bit about the She Rolls. One of our core values, which is protect your womb, protect your sister, protect your nation. That's our mantra, and that's how we start. So when we talk about protecting our womb and the work that it takes, I think that goes to kind of the definition of sisterhood and what we have to do as individuals. When we talk about protecting our sister, that is the essence of sisterhood. And protecting our nation is looking at all of our sisters in our bigger, community. So I guess I would like to ask you ladies, I guess I'll start with Corinne again. When we talk about womb and womb work, and how that impacts our decisions and the way we interact with sisters, protect your womb, what does that mean to you?
Okay,
When you hear those words.
So a lot comes to mind. And I actually want to focus on the point you made about impact. The work that we do as women, just in general. You know that we mother, right? We know that we are the creators of life. We understand that womb work can literally translate into life, creation, bringing things into existence. And that can be seen on multiple levels. Even in creativity, we birth ideas, we birth nations, we birth motivation. And I feel like when we break apart certain family dynamics, it is hard for just us as a human nation, our men included, understanding and respecting the feminine energy and respecting the value and the impact and the influence that that has on people. It can really be impactful because it motivates nations. Men go to war over it.
Wow.
Right? Right? I mean, that's really a thing. Men go to war. They will conquer lands and take over nations.
All right, all right. So you have that here, but I would encourage everyone to go to the Global African Sheroes page, Sheroes Union page. So we definitely check some of those out. Let's see what else we have. Several videos. Get the Gambia, the U.S. Trade and Investment Forum, Mama Ades on the Real Woman King, Sheroes Sisterhood Texas, Sheroes Sisterhood Kentucky. So if you all are in any of those areas, but if you would like to come to New York, definitely check that link out or leave a message, leave an inbox, and let us know you saw this video here. So we are looking forward to expanding into the United Nations space over the next few days. Next week, actually, Global African Women's Day. So we're looking forward to that. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. We are out. We are out 30 minutes, and we did it. All right. Peace and blessings.